If you're looking for a way to make a real tangible difference in your community, check out Impact 100 chapters in your city. It's a network of women who come together, pool their resources, and fund powerful local change, often awarding grants of $100,000 or more to nonprofits right where you live. There are chapters all over the country, so chances are there's one near you. Find it, join it, and be part of something that actually moves the needle. There is a disorder where men become suddenly convinced that their genitals are slowly retracting back into their body. Not only that, but they become convinced that once they disappear completely, they're going to die. Now imagine that fear spreading to thousands of other people at the exact same time. Hospitals in Singapore were once flooded with terrified men who genuinely believed they were in immediate danger. Some tied strings around themselves, some used clamps, some even attached weights in an attempt to physically stop the retraction from happening. Entire communities started spiraling into panic together, and somehow, unbelievably, this was real. Today, we're talking about Koro, one of the strangest mass psychological phenomena ever documented, and a story that is somehow both absurdly bizarre and deeply unsettling at the same time. Welcome back, strangers, to Strange Mind, the podcast where we talk about bizarre psychology, strange disorders, true crime, mass hysteria, and the deeply unsettling things the human brain is capable of. I'm Dr. Amy Busing.
I'm Viking Cat Lady.
And today we are talking about Koro, which might honestly be one of the weirdest psychological phenomenons I've ever heard of. Because when you hear about this, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like an urban legend, but the deeper you get, the more fascinating and honestly disturbing it is. But before we begin, if you enjoy this show and want more, head over to the Strange Mind podcast website and become a member. We just launched, and the first 25 members will be entered in a drawing to win a $100 gift card of your choice and a Viking Cat Lady squishy doll. We have some great bonus content on there. We'll have unreleased episodes and cool psychology facts that you can impress your friends and family with, and we appreciate all the support. So let's talk about Koro. I don't know if it's Koro. It's Koro. And the fear is extremely specific. People become convinced that their genitals are shrinking back into their body and that when they disappear, they will then die.
Men and women?
Yes. Women become afraid that their vulvas and labias are coming into their body, and that their nipples are retracting into their breast. And women have known to put pins in their nipples to prevent them from going into their breasts.
Pins? What do you mean, like a safety pin?
Yes. I don't know if it's exactly a safety pin, but a pin. I don't know. Okay. So obviously when you hear that, it sounds ridiculous. The name itself comes from Malay, and it means the head of a turtle, to resemble when it goes back into the shell. But what makes it so fascinating is the people actually believe it. Like, this is not funny to them. They actually believe this is happening. It's considered a culture-bound syndrome. So it's usually mostly found in East and Southeast Asia, China specifically, but there's been cases everywhere, even America. But it's most commonly in China. And it's they say that it's built into their culture, because in some of those cultures, your penis is really part of your vitality, your life.
Right.
In Taoism and traditional Chinese medicine, frequent ejaculation is seen to weaken you, because your semen is your life force.
All right. So they're not very sexually active.
I don't know. You would think not. I mean, but think about it. No teenage boy would live past 15 if that was the case, if it was draining your energy every time. So because of the cultural ties, if you did that here, you would be this guy's a lunatic. get them arrested. But you could like run into a market in China and be like, my dick is shrinking. And like people would all start checking their dicks too. Like they would take it very seriously. In Africa, okay, so the earliest reference to this, to Koro, is in the literature is 1849. But there was a small-scale epidemic as recently as 1996 in West Africa. But the Africans believe that their genitals are being stolen. Like some sort of force is stealing their genitals.
Okay, so not like aliens.
Yeah.
Or...
So I think it's like black magic.
Okay.
And this started out as like superstition, and then it got to the point where there's been like mob violence and vigilante attacks. Yeah. So if penis theft interests you at all, we're going to have a bonus episode that's going to talk all about it because it's incredibly bizarre and it's happening today. Like just last month in, where is it? Zambia, there were witch hunts where someone was accused of stealing penises, and they went and like beat the shit out of somebody. Like a vigilante mob. Anyway.
Yes. I don't know. I can't really wrap my head around it.
You can't process this yet. Okay, so back to Koro. Like I said, there have been cases in America, but when it's like in a Western culture, it's more usually like associated with schizophrenia or some other kind of psychosis. And according to literature, the episodes generally last like a few hours to a few days. But there are cases in which Koro has been known to last for years as a chronic condition, which I don't know how that works, with it just moving at an incredibly slow rate into the body.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And like, are these people just in a constant state of terror and
fear that their dick is shrinking.
Right?
Yeah.
Or
retracting.
Can they function? Because they're
not in these acute cases.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what happens in the chronic cases, but in the acute cases, they flood emergency rooms and go to doctors. So this tells you something pretty terrifying about the human brain, that basically once your brain locks into something, every single sensation can become like confirmation that thing is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll talk about this first crazy case. It was in Singapore in 1967. So a rumor started that a vaccinated pig, his penis retracted into his body and he died. So then somehow this rumor spread that by eating pork of these vaccinated pigs, that this would too happen to you. So the rumors, this is like something that would happen on Facebook today.
Right.
I could see it.
Right. Absolutely.
The rumor spread incredibly fast, and within days, there were hundreds of men flooding emergency rooms. They had tied strings around themselves to prevent shrinkage. Other people used clamps, and they attached weights because they thought physical resistance. There's photos of this. I'm going to post them on the website for anyone interested. So imagine being an exhausted ER doctor and having to explain to a group of like 50 men that, in fact,
their genitals are not.
Yeah, their genitals are not. They
retracting.
don't need a pulley system attached to their peni. But again, these people weren't joking. They were like having full panic attacks, like hyperventilating.
That's crazy.
Crazy. So this is not that different from modern anxiety. You know, things that happen on TikTok, and suddenly they have a brain tumor, and every like headache they get, it feeds into that phenomenon, right? Yep. This happens with people. The human brain is unbelievably suggestible when fear gets involved. And that's what keeps Fox News and CNN making as much money as they do. Fear mongering. So the neuroscience. When people become anxious, they start scanning the body for threats. So your attention narrows and you become hyper aware of little sensations that you wouldn't normally. So like in this case, it was like tiny muscle contractions, temperature changes, like any shift in blood flow, things that normally you wouldn't even notice, but because you're super tuned in, it becomes like an OCD loop. So you get super tuned in and then you feel something, and then that spreads the anxiety and confirms that this thing is happening.
Right.
And then once an entire community starts reinforcing it, then there's just no stopping it.
Yeah, there's no turning back.
People are talking about it constantly, and it just feeds the fear. So honestly, like, this should scare us because we're really not as rational as you would think.
As an individual person.
Yeah. Like, really, if everyone can convince people that this thing is happening. I mean, I get that it's culture bound in a lot of ways, but still, it wasn't like these things weren't happening in like rural villages. These were happening in like cities. It was like educated people.
It's crazy. And it's like mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria, exactly. The treatment psychotherapy, like talking people through it, explaining to them like this will not happen. But in these indigenous cultures, they often would believe there was a fox spirit involved. Like the fox spirit, I guess, steals vitality. So people would hit gongs and beat the person, try to get the fox spirit out. Like, imagine now you're getting beaten. And then there's a yin and yang balancing elixir that they would make that contained deer antlers and tails.
Delicious.
Tiger penis, deer penis, or fur seal penis. I guess depending on what's available to you.
I guess.
Try to get a penis off a live tiger. I dare you.
Right. I'd be curious to know that process.
Right?
But not really.
No.
I'm sure it was horribly cruel.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so Singapore wasn't even the biggest outbreak. In 1984 and 1985, there was an epidemic in China where 3,000 people over the course of a year in 16 cities and provinces had this happen. They stayed up monitoring relatives because they were afraid something would happen overnight. And people were begging family members to physically hold on to them so they wouldn't disappear. I guess they thought like once it retracted,
that
you just disappear.
Which also doesn't make any sense.
Right. So the way that they solved this, they did a huge mental health campaign, like educating the entire, I guess, or wherever these affected areas were. Mm-hmm. And there hasn't been an outbreak since. So I guess that really worked. Hopefully people spread that down to their children and it just became
they squashed it.
Koro is not real. So honestly, once you strip away these bizarre details, humans still do versions of this constantly with health scares, moral panic, social media, mass fear. I was thinking about Pizzagate. Do you remember this?
Yes.
I couldn't remember what it was, but it's like people were convinced that they were like Democrats were operating a child sex ring out of a DC pizza place.
Yes.
I looked it up. It was called Comet Ping Pong.
The name of the pizza place?
Yeah. Comet Ping Pong. Like, what? There's not a sex ring coming out of Comet Ping Pong. I mean, I don't know what like a sleek pizza place that might have a child sex ring would be named, but it wouldn't be Comet Ping Pong. I feel like that really just destroys any credibility of you being a serious trafficker. I don't know. Okay, so everybody laughs when they first hear about this. When they first hear about people being afraid of their dicks retracting. Mm-hmm. But it's actually kind of scary because we can reinforce these beliefs in one another pretty easily. And another example of this is satanic panic. Do you remember this?
Mm-mm.
Well, no. I had to look it up too. Like in the 80s and 90s, like I remember it being a thing where everyone thought that everyone was like Satan worshipers and people were like abducting kids.
Oh, I vaguely remember that. Not the abducting kids part.
Yeah.
But just that.
Everyone was concerned about it and it was like being communicated in music and stuff. And like,
yes.
If you played records backwards, like Satan was talking to them and they wanted to ban all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Like that was all a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
But we all believe that. And like looking back now, that's so ridiculous that there was like Satan worshipers taking over.
Right. Did I ever tell you that story of the HVAC guy who came to my office and he pulled out the chair, sat on the other side of the desk, and he goes, Liz, I don't know who you voted for, but Joe Biden is dead.
No.
Yes. And I was like, excuse me? I didn't say anything. And he just was going on about all these crazy, how
this is when
he's
he was
a paid
president?
actor. Yes. How he's dead. And there's a paid actor portraying him, and John F. Kennedy is alive in a basement somewhere. Wow. I mean, insane shit. I wrote it down. I'll have to dig it up and refresh my memory. But like, I was freaked out, and I didn't know that this was anything to do with QAnon. I started to, as he sat there for 20 minutes.
Yeah, you're like, should I be calling a hospital?
Yeah,
right now?
like
Did
I thought,
escape somewhere.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is nuts. And I just was like, politics right now is very interesting, isn't it? Like, I didn't know what to say. I'm like, I was alone in my office. No one else was in the building.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You didn't want to say the wrong thing. That's another, like, the fine line between delusions and what we were talking about in our Folie à Deux episode. If you haven't listened, go check it out. It's pretty interesting. But, like, how delusions can spread between people.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the difference between that guy thinking that, or it's just, he's just a QAnoner?
I mean,
or any conspiracy theory.
Right. So I Googled some of this shit that he said, and sure enough, I was like, oh, that's something that QAnon
it's
believes
like a common
and is spreading
thing.
around.
Wow.
But I just thought he was a crazy person. I didn't realize it was part of...
Yeah.
Probably about 5-10 minutes in, I started to figure out, I'm like, oh, wait, I think this is where this is going.
Because I think maybe the difference is people claim to have facts and show facts that are not really facts. Like, even if you're a little suspicious, like, because you've heard all those things, well, like, the birthday is the same birthday as this, and, like, people find connections between things that, like, are meaningless, but actually find meaning. Because it's really weird. Like, how could one thing be something that you could hospitalize someone over? I mean, only if they were harmful to themselves or others. But, like, people would think, oh, that guy's delusional, or, oh, he just read this on Facebook and believes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, strangers, that's it for Koro. Go tell all your friends and family about this fun new disorder you heard about on the Strange Mind podcast.
Don't let your dick shrink.
Watch out for dick shrinkage and for people stealing dicks. Over and out.
Peace out.
I want to make something very clear. While we sometimes use humor when discussing psychological disorders, unusual behaviors, or extraordinary case histories, we take mental illness and psychological suffering very seriously. Humor can be a way to make difficult subjects more approachable, but it's never our intention to mock, minimize, or dismiss the very real pain that many people experience. Behind every diagnosis, symptom, or case is a human being whose experiences can be frightening, isolating, and deeply distressing. Our goal is to educate, explore, and discuss these topics openly, including the strange, shocking, and sometimes surreal aspects of psychology, while still maintaining empathy and respect for those who live with these conditions every day. Thanks for tuning in.